This afternoon in a Monroe County murder arrest that dates back more than 4 decades. Max Calhoun is now charged in the death of John Constant Jr. A grand jury indicted him last week. Constant died in March of 1973. The district attorney general just wrapped up a press conference about this case. Prosecutors wrote the victim died of multitude of gunshots. The DA says the indictment and arrest comes after someone came forward with new information.
I want to take you back to December of this last year. At that period of time, our office was approached because of our cold case task force by an individual who indicated they knew someone who wanted to come and speak with us about this matter to bring us information and evidence.
The DA says his office has been in contact with living relatives of the victim. He would not go into any details about a possible motive in this case. Calhoun is expected in court for an arraignment on February 25th.